Good morning, YouTube. Mark here, and this is a VR to Truck and Piper Bob. Now, Bob popped a question up on one of my videos recently, asking about what cutters I tend to use on cigars. So, like pipe smoking, with cigars, you're going to need your accessories. It's not just a case of getting a cigar, going home and smoking it. If you go into a tobacconist's and buy a very expensive cigar and then go home just to find that you've got nothing to cut it or light it with, then you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. And that's why usually tobacconists I've been in, if I've bought a cigar, they do offer a, would you like me to cut the cigar for you? Because I know what tends to happen is if you're going in the city or whatever for the day, 2 seconds, we'll try again. Yes, sometimes if you go into the city and you fancy a cigar, and you pop in there and they will offer this service to you. Now, so you've decided to get yourself a little kit put together. I do have 2 humidors, but what I've really done in the last sort of year and a half is I just buy the Tupperware boxes, plastic Tupperware boxes. The cheapest chips, you can pick them up for like £5 a tub. No, just something like that, but obviously to the size of the cigars that you want to put in there. I just put them in there, chuck a Boveda pack, and then I know they're okay. The other thing that I like about doing these Tupperware, as opposed to a normal humidor, is that it's a good way of quarantining your cigars that you've just bought. So say you've bought a bundle of 20, and if you put them in there with a Boveda, if they've got any problems with them, if they have any sort of tobacco beetles or lather or anything like that, then you know that it's only going to affect that particular Tupperware. It's not going to spread to the rest of your cigars. I've heard of people who've gone into a humidor, opened it up, and they've had mold and they've lost hundreds of pounds worth of cigars. Again, if you do the freezer method with your cigars, it's another great way of storing them. You put them in the fridge for 24 hours, transfer them to the freezer for 24 hours, back into the fridge for 24 hours, and then take them out. And the theory is that obviously if there's anything in there, it'll get killed and destroyed. So there you go. So yeah, so that covers sort of like the humidor side. Now, talking about cutters, this cutter right here is the first one I ever got, and I got this gifted along with a humidor and also a cigar case, which I couldn't find to bring out to show you today, but I do still have that case. I've had this cutter now for nearly 20 years, and it's only recently that I've had to change because it's been going blunt. So, but these ones here are pretty cheap, pretty easy. Sometimes if you put an order in with some companies, I do have a cigars one here. I can't really see it. Sometimes they'll throw one in, and you know, you've got a cutter. They're not the best, they're not great, but if you're stuck in a pinch, they're always handy to have. Another one that I got recently is this one, and this one actually came with an actual cigar case. So if you look on Amazon and stuff like that, you can get like a nice case with the cutter already in there. I don't take that cutter. I usually I take the other one, but this one's just there as a spare in case I ever need it. So my go-to one at the moment is my Colibri guillotine. It is really big, so I'll tend to use this on I'll tend to use this on sort of medium, sort of 50 ring gauge plus. I'll use it on this. The smaller guillotine I'll use on my smaller cigars. But on the larger ring gauges, I'll use my V cut. So this is a Colibri. Now, I do like this. I really like this cutter, but the only thing that I've got against it is that it is a very deep cut. So again, that's why I use it on the larger sort of size cigars. I did used to have a little one that fit on my keyring. I think I paid something like £6 from Cigars. So, and it was brilliant, absolutely fantastic. I just need to put another order in Cigars at some point and order another one because it fit on a keyring. So it was pretty much like the little punch, which I can't get away with personally. I know some people do like the punch, where you just basically take that, put it in and cut it into your cigar, and then it has a nice little rod on there which will push the remaining tobacco out the end. Again, that comes on a keychain, so you can have it on your keys. I don't like punch because it's the same with if you get a pigtail cigar. Now the thing with these is you just sort of twist that off and you don't need to cut it. You can smoke it through the little hole that's on there. But what I find with the punch and with these pigtails is that because it's such a small draw hole, I always find I think you get a lot of build-up of like tar and nasty juices. So even with these pigtails, I'll still give it a snip and cut that off there. So yes, for me, really, my two go-to cutters is this Colibri guillotine and this Colibri V cut. Now, there are certain ways some people will cut a cigar on an angle. They'll do an angle cut like that, or just your typical straight cut. I just do a straight cut. I don't do it on an angle. Or you can just go totally brutal and just rip the end off with your teeth and have at it. So there you go. But so yeah, pretty easy. I've seen me get to the point where I've used a pair of scissors to snip the end of a cigar off because I couldn't at the time. I didn't have a lot of cutters and I was always hunting all over the place trying to find them. I tend to keep them all pretty close to hand now, as you can see. Obviously other things you can get for your cigars, you can get, you can always pick up some nice cases. I like these for my Churchill ones. I've got 3 cases now. I've got the sort of the smaller case, which would be pretty much perfect. I used to put the Romeo and Juliet #2 in them. They fit in great in there. I got this one recently off Amazon, really cheap, nice little case. I got a nice little Corona size cigar in there, and again, obviously, I've got the big boy for. Which I used last time. I think I used it for these Nika Rusticas when I went out, so it's definitely nicer for a bigger cigar. But and also, I mean, it looks nice on the table when you're sat outside and you're having a drink and smoking a nice Churchill cigar. So yes, that's pretty much it. Obviously, lighters. I don't tend to go too much and say, oh, you should use this lighter, you should use that lighter. As you know, I'm an absolute heathen because I will use a jet flame to light my pipe, and I keep getting told off for that. So yes, you can use a match, a soft flame, a Zippo, any number of jet lighters. You know, at the end of the day, whatever you're happy with and it gets it lit, that's what it's all about. So there you go. I don't tend to use matches or Zippos much because, like people say, if you strike a match, give it a few seconds to get that sulphur smell out the way so you're not drawing it into your cigar. And again, with the Zippo, you're not getting that petrol taste coming through, but again, hey ho, it's each to their own. So there you are. So yes, I've not got a huge selection of cutters. I'm not sort of at that level now where, I mean, I think me pad, tad, and probably cad I've got at the moment. It hasn't quite gone into cutters and lighters and cigar cases anymore, but it's going to get there. I'm already fancying a nice table lighter at some point. So yes, there you go. So I hope that's helped, Bob. Like I say, you know, just your little cheeky from cigars, it does the job. I mean, if you're not going to smoke a huge amount of cigars, they cost pennies, you know, just to get one chucked in. And I think sometimes if you spend so much on cigars, they tend to throw one in for free anyway. But yeah, if you're not going to be smoking cigars on a very, very regular basis, then something like these, you know, these little cheapy, they'll do the job. They'll do the job. But like I say, I think if you're going to certainly dip your toe in there and become a serious cigar smoker to the point where obviously you're going to be smoking several a week, then, you know, I would suggest you get something a bit nicer, a bit more upmarket. You know, the blade's going to last a lot longer. And happy hunting, because there's just so many varieties out there. You know what I mean? It's like you'd be cross-eyed looking online and deciding which one you're going to go with. But yeah. Have a good one, Bob. Happy hunting. And before I go, I will actually cut a cigar. Actually, what I'll do is I'll do two, because I'll show you how the punch works, and then I can cut the end off with a straight cutter anyway. So yeah, you just get this little sharp bit, find the center spot on the cigar, and just sort of rotate it in. And as you can see, it cuts its way in there. And then when you remove it, it gives you that little cut on the end. It's as easy as that. And then when you pop that in there, pushes your little cigar cap out, and that's it done. But like I said, me personally, I don't like that, because I find that when you've got a small draw hole like that, it's almost like smoking an unfiltered pipe. You know, when you get them horrible juices come through and you've got to stick a pipe cleaner in it. I had a pigtail Lancero a few months ago now, and I just twisted the pigtail off and I smoked it, and I ended up having to put a pipe cleaner into the draw hole of the cigar, because there was just so much horrible juices coming through that the next time I snipped it. So yeah, so that's the punch. I'm going to just use this cutter now. I just get a nice little grip on the end there. I see some guys will rotate it slightly just to get the top going, and then just a little snip. There you go. That's it. Easy as that. And again, if you've seen me light my cigars, I just set the lighter away, just bring it in gently until it starts to toast it. Don't put it too far up to the nose end of the cigar, because you'll just end up incinerating the shit out of it. So I just bring it in nicely. I can rotate the cigar. I can get a good view on the foot. get to a point I'm happy with. Another touch up. As you put it on a slight angle, and I'll just sort of chamfer the end there just to give it a little couple of mil head start. And there you go, you're ready to go. So there you go, Bob. Thanks for watching. I hope this sort of helps you out a little bit. I mean, again, so many videos out there on YouTube. I mean, a lot of mine's just come from watching other presenters, so I'm not sort of teaching anything new. It's like everything else, you'll probably find your own way of doing things. So there you go. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of the bank holiday weekend and the rest of the week. See you all soon. Bye for now.